You might have heard the news, but my company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services, also known as CBIS, an FMO, an internal agency with a book of business, writing policies, team, staff, LOAs, that kind of thing, has merged with the marketing and lead generation company, Lead Heroes. So in this video, I'm going to break down my reaction, my thoughts about it. I have actually not done a one-off video for you guys to kind of give you my thoughts about this, kind of give you my motivations in terms of why would I want to do this? Why would Glenn Shelton want to do this with us? And kind of the vision for the ultimate combination of the business going forward. So without further ado, let's jump in. So if you didn't hear the news, as I just mentioned, as of January 1st of this year, 2024, CBIS and Lead Heroes have merged into one business. The first question that I've been getting a lot is, does this mean there is a new name of the business, a new name of the combined business? No, not necessarily, although we are doing a DBA, a doing business as name of eSenior Insurance for CBIS. Doesn't mean CBIS will not be CBIS, but it's just another name we might use interchangeably for CBIS. But Lead Heroes will still remain its own name of its company. It will still remain its own company. Same with CBIS. And there's actually more companies involved in this transaction and in this combination than just those two companies. There is really 5 companies in total that are in play here. So many of you know, but some of you might not know, that prior to this merger, actually, CBIS was not my only company. It was one of 3. I had 3 companies. Glenn Shelton had 2 companies. So let's kind of go down the list in terms of what those companies are. So of course, we had CBIS, Christian Brindle Insurance Services. Our brokerage, our agency, that's what CBIS is. We had the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit, LLC. The 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit, LLC was the business for our yearly event called the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. And then we had 7 Figure Medicare Agent Training, LLC, which is our consulting company and our courses and online training company. Okay, so those 3 companies were my companies. Now, Glenn Shelton's companies were Lead Heroes, which is lead generation for Medicare agents and final expense agents, and Hire Heroes, which is virtual staffing, virtual assistants. And essentially, what we've done is we've put all of these companies together in one entity. So kind of the structure is CBIS is the parent company of all of these companies. CBIS owns 100% all the other 4 companies. So CBIS is a bit almost the head of the snake, and CBIS owns 100%. Lead Heroes, Hire Heroes, 7 Figure Medicare Summit LLC, and 7 Figure Medicare Training LLC. And then Glenn and I own CBS 50-50. So everything is 50% equal partnership split down the middle. This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes is going to be your one-stop shop when it comes to your Medicare and final expense needs. People ask me all the time, Christian, what type of lead is going to be the best quality for me to work? And I don't really quite know if the answer is going to be a digital marketing lead, a direct mail lead, or a telemarketed lead, but I can say that a telemarketed lead is going to be up there with the best of them in terms of quality. A telemarketed lead has unique quality to it because there's a live person that actually speaks to the prospective customer and gets their verbal consent that they're interested and willing to speak with a licensed agent just like you. Whether it be a pre-scheduled Medicare appointment with a scope of appointment captured and then scheduled on your calendar 48 hours out, or whether it be a custom calling campaign where you call the shots, where your scripts are used, where it's the areas of your choosing, when it's the times of the day that you're choosing. Custom calling is where you pay by the hour, and essentially it's a custom campaign built to your liking. Lead Heroes has got you covered for all of these unique type of marketing needs for agents. There's a link down in the description of this video about Lead Heroes. You can learn more about these incredibly unique lead generation services, and I think you'll want to check it out today so you can continue to grow and explode your business. So the next question that I've been getting a lot of is, why did we both want to do this? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm just for the sake of time, I'm going to narrow it down to 3 in this video. The first one is the combination of resources and the increased potential of what we can do together versus being alone. So Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes, respectively, is mostly mostly for the most part a virtual call center with a majority of the team working overseas in the Philippines. There are a couple of individuals that work with the company that are stateside, but for the majority of the business, it is overseas in the Philippines. And there's around, depending on the time of year, around right now, 200 employees of the businesses. Okay, so a large workforce, large staff, lots of infrastructure, layers of management and responsibilities to get tasks done in the business, and really an incredibly fast-growing leads and marketing company. With Lead Heroes in particular, they have seen significant growth in their revenue every year since the business really started. And now, before we even did this merger, Lead Heroes was a 7-figure revenue business. Okay, so Lead Heroes has been able to go through different kinds of regulatory changes, adapt, and essentially be able to kind of adjust as time goes on. And so, Glenn really knows his stuff, and Glenn's team and the Lead Heroes management team really know what they're doing. And they're an organization that will be able to survive practically anything in terms of rules and regulations and changes and make adjustments. And that's what made me feel very comfortable in doing this. Now, on the CBIS side, right, CBIS was started by me. We officially incorporated in 2017, although I was selling as an agent for many years before that. We just didn't incorporate until about 2017. And CBIS has seen massive growth every year as well. And CBIS, prior to the merger, was also a 7-figure revenue business as well. So we're essentially taking 2 7-figure revenue businesses and combining their assets, combining their cash flow, combining their resources, and combining their teams to be able to work well together. So number one, I think it's the potential of where we're going to be able to go as a joint organization, right? The potential is so massively vast. With our business now, we really have a hand in pretty much everything that goes on in the agent distribution or insurance industry on the senior insurance sales side of things. Pretty much everything, right? We have our brokerage internally where we sell policies. We have the FMO side where we work with agents and help them grow their business, and we do a fantastic job at that. We run a great compliant and high quality lead generation service. Now, we have a great virtual staffing business in Hire Heroes. We have our event, the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit, which has had 2 incredible years in 2022 and 2023, and then 2024 being year 3 of the business in Savannah, Georgia in June. Had amazing feedback both years from people that attended, and I'm super excited for this year, and the event's going to be bigger this year than ever. More sponsors, more ticket holders, bigger, badder, better, whatever you want to say. And then, of course, our online training, consulting. So really, in a way, with this new combined entity, we can work with an agent in almost any way they can possibly need, right? They need leads, we can provide that. And I'm not talking just about contracted agents, right? An agent could be contracted outside of us, and we can still work together and have a very mutually beneficial relationship, right? There's so many organizations where it's like you either contract with me or you don't. And if you don't contract with me, we have nothing to talk about. We have no ability to work together, that kind of stuff. And for us, that's not going to ever be the way it's going to work. We can work with agents no matter who you're contracted under, no matter who you are. Now, don't get me wrong. If an agent wants to contract with us and kind of get that up close and personal, care and everything else that kind of goes with that, and that mentorship and the ability to help you provide resources and training and guidance to grow your business, we always welcome that. We want agents to contract with us, absolutely. But we also understand that there's lots of agents out there that are in a very good fit where they're contracted with now. They're very happy with who they're aligned with now, but maybe they want to learn from us. Maybe they want to take advantage of some of our resources. We've kind of created a business model where we can work with every single agent in the industry. No matter who you are, whether you contract with us or not, we have something for everybody. And that's such a unique business model that I don't think anybody has, right? And so I think that is absolutely huge. So that's number one. Number two, there have been a tremendous amount of proposed rules and new rules and regulations coming out, right? Of course, we've talked in this channel in explicit detail about the CMS proposed rules and changes. We won't kind of go into that on this video today, but there's also the FCC changes, right? The Federal Communications Commission, if you're not familiar with what the FCC is. And with the FCC, they have put some rules out that are essentially going to prevent a lot of lead and marketing companies from being able to generate and sell leads as they currently are. And I believe it's going to cut 75% of lead vendors and put them out of business, frankly, because not everybody has the infrastructure or the ability or the patience or the discipline to adjust and kind of proceed. Lead Heroes is going to have that, but also working together, right? And us using leads internally for our own, LOA agents, we are going to be able to provide a better lead at the end of the day to anybody that's buying leads. We're going to be able to handle the FCC situation much better than Lead Heroes probably could have separately, because we're going to have such intimate data on what's working versus what's not working. We can test things in the agency before we roll it out to the masses. And there's real power in that. The brand for CBIS has always been anything we bring to you on this channel for free, or in our paid trainings in Six Figure Medicare University, or content we provide at the summit every year. It's something that we've tried and succeeded with first in the agency. The agency is essentially the test subject. It's the guinea pig for everything before we roll it out. Now we can do the same thing with Lead Heroes and lead generation, right? So I think that is going to help in terms of us kind of working together to adjust, adapt, and essentially be able to keep on cruising and keep on chugging with these new rules and regulations. So essentially, in a nutshell, the FCC rule is, essentially making it to where if a third party, let's say, lead organization, generates a lead and they capture lead and they used age data to capture that lead and then they sell it, right? They sell it to an agent. That's not going to fly anymore. For one, the age data is part of it, but then the number two, what they're essentially requiring is if there's a landing page, let's say, that somebody fills out on a Facebook form, they want who's going to be contacting them on that landing page, right? Like if it's John Smith agent that's going to be contacting them and that's who the lead company is generating the lead for, it's going to have to say on the landing page, John Smith of blah, blah, blah insurance, right, will be the one contacting you. And so there's a lot of changes with this FCC rule that's going to change lead generation and the way lead companies do business, and it's going to thin the herd significantly, I assure you. It's also going to change how agents are able to generate their own leads. There's a whole thing about that, and we will do a video specifically diving into the nuts and bolts of that specifically. All right, so, but together we're going to be able to handle rule changes, regulations, and we're going to be able to adapt much better, and I think the timing of this could not be better with all these rule changes kind of circulating, some proposed, some actually passed. The FCC rule is essentially scheduled to take effect January 1st of 2025, although there is a lot of people behind the scenes fighting it and trying to get it changed or essentially completely stop it from even happening. So we'll have to see what happens. There's a lot of time before it takes effect that some things could essentially change with the FCC rule. This video is brought to you by the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit. Guys, have you ever wanted to get around other professionals and the best of the best in the Medicare space if you're a Medicare agent? There's something to be said about networking and learning what other people are doing around the country, and they might just have some ideas that you may never have thought of before. It's also something to be said about learning from the best of the best. The most successful people in the insurance space collaborate, talk with others, and they have a mentality that we all are in this together and we share ideas and grow together. The 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit is the premier event for Medicare agents. It is highly affordable. It has a great reputation of being some of the best content you're going to find at any event. There's so many events out there that are nothing but pitch fests, or half of the speakers are employees for the agency that host the event, and there's not really any real agency builders, or very few that actually take the stage and speak. At the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit, you get nothing but the best of the best talent from all over the industry. It's not based on hierarchy. It's not based on anything like that. We all are coming together as Medicare agents to grow and learn and get better. You can get information on who the speakers are for this year's event and ticket prices down in the link of this description. We would love to see you at the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit. I think the third thing is this business is relatively lonely. Sometimes it's hard to run a company completely by yourself with no partnership. Sometimes you have to take a step back and really wonder and kind of question, if decisions you're making are going to be the best decisions. I love the idea of having somebody in Glenn who historically has been a great business relationship with me, right? I was a customer of Lead Heroes for many years before we did this. I was a customer of Hire Heroes for many years before we did this. We did tons of collaboration together. We hosted podcasts together prior to the merger. So we have been great friends for many years. We have great admiration for each other, and we like each other a lot. And there's something to be said about not being in the growth and not being in the trenches alone, right? It is nice to essentially have somebody that understands what you're going through. You understand what they're going through. I mean, it's not easy to be a business that's rapidly growing, that's in the public eye, let's face it, right, with the Facebook group and the YouTube channel and all of the exposure and attention that agents have on us at all times. It's not always easy, and very few people understand kind of what it's like and the type of decisions we do have to make on a day-to-day basis, to grow the business, determining the best direction of the company. And so us kind of being able to bounce ideas off each other, right, and figure things out together and share feedback with each other to kind of help us kind of see different perspectives is so incredibly valuable, I believe, for the direction of both businesses and really the combined entity that we personally have. So I am extremely excited for the future. I think 2024 will have the most amount of growth that either organization's ever had. And let's face it, right? We took prior to the merger, 2 7-figure organizations, combined them together. The worth of the overall entity, we've been trying to figure that out. I mean, the worth of the overall entity, we kind of estimate the actual value of the overall entity. We put everything together with, EBITDAs, revenue, everything like that, is likely 8 figures. The combined company of these 5 organizations all together is very likely 8 figures, the worth. And so we feel like this partnership makes us a behemoth, and it allows us to better serve everybody we do business with. It allows us to put out the best product possible for leads, for our lead customers, for VAs, for our virtual assistant customers, for service and resources to our contracted agents, right? Better consulting and training available for our consulting and Six Figure Medicare University agent partners that work with us on Six Figure Medicare University, and put out a better event for the summit every year. Like, everything will be a better product and a better quality as a result of this, and everybody that does business with us will benefit as a result. So nobody loses with this. Not a single person in my mind. And I feel like over the next year, but even farther out, the next 2 to 3 years, the amount of impact, a positive impact we're going to be able to make on the industry, and so many of you, is significantly greater than it ever was previously. So that's kind of my thoughts on the merger, you guys, and kind of my motivations for wanting to do it, where I feel like this is going, what this really means. And I couldn't be more excited for what's to come. There's been so much. I mean, we're in January at the time of recording this, and this was effective January 1st. There's been so many things that we've already got accomplished in terms of integration and moving forward in such a short amount of time. You know, a lot of these things I thought would take 3 to 6 months to really kind of shape out, and we've already kind of coming out the other side on a lot of these changes. And so I'm super excited for the future, and I hope you guys are as well. I would also love to kind of get your feedbacks on the merger. What do you feel like on the merger? What is your first reaction? What questions do you have? What is your feedback? What is your thoughts? Comment them down below on this video. I would love to have a conversation with you about this and kind of hear your guys' feedback and what your thoughts are about it. If you like this video and you like the videos we put out on this channel, there's no better way you can show it than smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps us find more agents just like you who need to see this content desperately. They might not be getting any training or support from where they're currently working with now. And of course, guys, subscribe. We put out videos every single week, usually at least 3, some weeks more. And without further ado, guys, we'll be back with you with a future video next time. Thanks so much for watching. Here's to your success and your abundance. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.